At 61, Lady Sarah Spencer is finally breaking her silence, revealing the painful truth about her past with King Charles. A past filled with heartbreak, scandal, and a twist that changed history. She was the woman who once captured the future king's heart, only to be cast aside in a way that would haunt the royal family forever. Tune in, because the secrets she's about to share will shake the royal family to its core. The sister who introduced Diana to destiny. She went to the best schools, Riddlesworth Hall first, and then West Heath, where she did well in her studies but really stood out for her confidence and charm. People liked her, and she knew how to work a room. But her life took a wild turn one evening when she got a strange letter. It wasn't just any letter. It had an unfamiliar family crest on it, and the words inside hinted at something big. A secret that could shake up everything she thought she knew about her own family. Your life is a lie. The truth is coming. As a part of Britain's elite, Sarah was expected to follow the usual high society path, and that's exactly how she met Prince Charles. Their families had been linked for ages, running into each other at fancy parties and countryside events. But in the year 1977, things changed. They were reintroduced at a pheasant hunting event, a classic upper-class pastime. Sarah caught his attention immediately. She was bold, full of energy, and completely different from the quiet, polite women he usually met. They got along well, talking about everything from nature to art, and she didn't hold back her opinions, even when she disagreed with him. Charles found it refreshing, a break from the usual nodding and smiling he was used to. They spent more time together, even taking a trip to Balmoral Castle, the royal family's private getaway in Scotland, where they hiked, fished, and got to know each other better. For a while, it seemed like things were going great, but the deeper Sarah stepped into the world of royalty, the harder things became. She had always been outspoken, but suddenly that was a problem. What Charles once admired about her started to make things complicated. The tipping point came when she gave an interview where she casually mentioned her past relationships and made a cheeky remark about how she wouldn't marry him even if he were a garbage man or the King of England. The press went wild. The royal family was not amused, and just like that, their romance ended. But Sarah wasn't the kind of woman to let a breakup define her. She walked away from it all with her head high, never looking back. And, ironically, she played a major role in introducing Charles to someone who would change history, her younger sister Diana. Diana was the complete opposite of Sarah, quiet, shy, and still figuring out who she was. She was much younger than Charles, and at first it seemed like their worlds were too different. But there was something there, a spark, even if no one noticed it at first. Years later, Charles would look back and remember their first meeting at the Spencer estate, calling her charming and full of life. Little did anyone know, this small moment would set off a chain of events that would shake the royal family forever. 3 years later, Diana, now 19, crossed paths with Charles again. He was dealing with the loss of his mentor, Lord Mountbatten, and struggling after a recent breakup. At a casual barbecue, Diana's kindness struck him. In the middle of a quiet moment, he kissed her. From then on, their story unfolded in front of the whole world. Incredibly, they only met in person 13 times before he proposed. But despite the short courtship and their vastly different lives, Diana was all in. When the royal family announced their engagement, the whole country went into celebration mode. Diana, the sweet young woman from a noble but non-royal family, was about to become the future queen. Their engagement interview, however, left people confused. When asked if they were in love, Diana confidently said, "Of course." But Charles's response was less romantic. "Whatever love means." The years that followed were full of drama, heartbreak, and intense public scrutiny. Diana's marriage to Charles was far from the fairy tale the world had hoped for. From the beginning, there were cracks in their relationship. The pressure of royal life, combined with their stark differences, made things increasingly difficult. She had to learn quickly how to navigate the expectations of being the Princess of Wales. Despite the challenges, she found ways to connect with people on a deeper level. Her warmth, sincerity, and ability to relate to ordinary people made her one of the most beloved figures in the world. Meanwhile, Charles struggled with his own issues. His heart had never fully let go of another woman, and the tension between him and Diana grew over the years. Eventually, the strain became too much, leading to one of the most publicized royal divorces in history. Through it all, Sarah remained in the background. watching as her younger sister's life unfolded in a way no one could have predicted. She had been there at the beginning, playing a small but crucial part in setting everything in motion. Some moments seem small at first, but they change everything later.
The untold story of Lady Sarah. The Spencer family, with their long-standing noble heritage, resided at Althorpe, a sprawling estate in Northamptonshire that had belonged to them for over 500 years. This majestic residence, complete with expansive gardens and a traditional aesthetic, was Sarah's childhood home. Known for her vibrant personality and independent streak from a young age, she attended Riddlesworth Hall and later West Heath boarding school, excelling both academically and socially. Despite the seemingly idyllic nature of her upbringing, a shadow was cast over her future one evening when she received a mysterious letter adorned with an ancient family crest she didn't recognize. The letter hinted at a secret that could potentially destabilize the Spencer legacy. As a member of British high society, Sarah was immersed in the duties and expectations of the aristocracy, yet she was resolute in forging her own path. Her acquaintance with Prince Charles stemmed from the intertwined circles of the British elite. It was not out of the ordinary for the Spencers and the royals to cross paths at various functions. In 1977, they were reintroduced during a pheasant hunt at a friend's estate, igniting a brief but significant romance. These gatherings, quintessentially British, involved tweed attire, hunting dogs, and the brisk countryside air. Charles, an aficionado of outdoor pursuits, was attracted to Sarah's dynamic presence. Their discussions ranged from environmental concerns to the arts, revealing many shared interests. Under pressure to find a suitable wife, he found her candidness and vigor refreshing. Unlike others, she was unafraid to express her opinions or challenge him during their exchanges. This connection led to several more outings, including a memorable weekend at Balmoral Castle, the royal family's Scottish retreat, where they could engage more intimately through fishing and hiking. However, the closer Sarah got to royal life, attending official events with him and observing the monarchy up close, the more the pressures intensified. Initially, he appreciated her frankness, but over time, it began to strain their relationship. Matters worsened after she candidly discussed her personal struggles and previous relationships in an interview, famously stating she wouldn't marry him whether he was a garbage man or the King of England. This remark triggered a media frenzy and displeased the royal family, culminating in their separation. After the breakup in 1977, Sarah effortlessly reintegrated into her aristocratic milieu, her confidence and robust personality undiminished by the separation. In fact, the split reinforced her reputation as a woman who made her own decisions. A pivotal moment post-breakup was when she introduced her younger sister to him. Diana, shy and still finding her path, contrasted starkly with him, a seasoned royal accustomed to the public spotlight. Despite their age difference and disparate experiences, a subtle connection existed, though it was initially unrecognized. By 1981, during their engagement interview, he reminisced about their first meeting, describing her as lively and charming, a characterization that soon endeared her to millions. Their initial encounter at the Spencer family estate laid the groundwork for a romance that would captivate the world. The disparities in their ages, personalities, and backgrounds contributed to a bond that would profoundly impact their lives and indelibly mark the British monarchy. 3 years later, a more self-assured Diana, then 19, re-encountered him during a challenging period as he grappled with a recent breakup and the loss of his mentor, Lord Mountbatten. At an informal barbecue, moved by her compassion, he impulsively kissed her, sparking their renowned romance, which rapidly evolved under the intense scrutiny of the press, a situation for which she was unprepared. Their relationship primarily developed through phone calls, as his royal duties often kept him occupied. Remarkably, they only met in person 13 times before his proposal. Despite their limited interactions and differing lifestyles, she was wholly committed to making it work. Their journey was interspersed with tender moments and trials, yet they consistently found solace and connection with one another. Shortly after they began dating, the royal family announced the engagement of Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, to Lady Diana Spencer, the daughter of Earl Spencer and Mrs. Shand Kidd. This joyful news was released just 3 weeks following his proposal, meticulously planned before her scheduled trip to Australia with her mother. This trip was intended to give her ample time to contemplate his proposal. In a BBC radio interview, he disclosed that he had proposed just days before her departure, thinking the distance would aid her deliberation. Contrary to his expectations, she immediately accepted, affirming her feelings. However, their engagement interview was somewhat awkward. When questioned about their mutual affection, she confidently affirmed their love, whereas he ambiguously remarked, "Whatever love means," leaving her puzzled and somewhat disheartened, yet still convinced of their potential for a strong union. As Sarah's chapter closes, the spotlight shifts to Diana, whose life intertwines deeply with the royal family's legacy. The anticipation of a royal wedding. The public was thrilled about the engagement, swept up in what looked like a fairy tale romance between the charming prince and the beautiful young Diana. The media went into a frenzy, covering every detail of their relationship and the upcoming wedding. As July 29, 1981, the wedding day at St. Paul's Cathedral approached, excitement grew. It was shaping up to be a grand event, described by Debrett's as possibly the last major state occasion of the 20th century. Important people from all over the world were expected to attend. The wedding preparations were grand and detailed, with the whole world watching closely. Her wedding dress was designed by David and Elizabeth Emanuel, and it became a big focus of attention. The dress had a 25-foot train, intricate lace, and thousands of pearls, making it a stunning display of her style and elegance, setting new fashion trends across the world. As the big day drew closer, the excitement reached new heights. The love story of Charles and her had captured the hearts of millions, all eagerly waiting to see them get married. On the morning of the wedding, London streets were packed with crowds, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the royal couple. The wedding turned into a spectacular event, watched by 750 million people worldwide. But that wasn't the most overwhelming part. Her arrival at St. Paul's Cathedral was unforgettable. She arrived in a beautiful glass coach, accompanied by her father, Earl Spencer. As she walked down the aisle, all eyes were on her. She moved with grace and confidence, leaving a lasting impression on everyone watching. The ceremony blended both tradition and a modern touch, fitting perfectly with the couple's place in royal history. With 2,600 guests in attendance, including famous figures and global leaders, the Prince and Lady Diana exchanged vows in front of a worldwide audience, marking an iconic moment in history. She and her sister, Lady Sarah, were once known for bringing her and the prince together, sparking what became a famous royal romance. She had dated him before and was happy to be seen as the one who played matchmaker for her sister and the prince. However, after the royal wedding, people started to wonder if she was actually unhappy about her marriage to him. Rumors about her jealousy added an interesting twist to the love story between her and the prince. Even though she tried to distance herself from royal events, gossip about her still being upset over her past with him continued. Many thought that she hadn't completely moved on, especially after her younger sister married the prince. But she eventually found peace in her life, far from the royal spotlight. Her life changed for the better in 1980 when she met Neil Edmund McCorquodale, a former officer and businessman. Neil's down-to-earth and kind nature was a refreshing change from her history with the prince. They quickly connected, and their relationship grew into a deep and genuine love, safe from the media attention that her earlier life had known. On May 17, 1980, she and Neil got married in a simple but heartfelt ceremony at St. Mary the Virgin Church in Great Brington, Northamptonshire. Only their closest family and friends were there. This marriage marked a new beginning for her, filled with love and the joy of raising a family. They had 3 children together, Emily in 1983, George in 1984, and Celia in 1989. She embraced motherhood and enjoyed a peaceful life in the countryside, far away from the constant pressure and attention of royal life. But this wasn't the whole story. Despite the rumors that people might remember, her life turned out to be one of peace and happiness, far from the royal chaos. As she became more involved with royal duties in the public eye, she took on an important role in her life. She became one of her ladies-in-waiting, offering her loyalty, emotional support, and friendship. This role wasn't just for show, it required trust, discretion, and a lot of heart. Qualities she showed time and time again, proving she was a key part of her close circle. Whether she was attending charity events, state functions, or traveling around the world, her presence gave her comfort in the often overwhelming world of royal duties. Away from the public, her role was just as important. More than just a sister, she was a trusted friend and advisor. She leaned on her for help with everything from navigating royal rules to handling personal problems. She was always there to listen and offer thoughtful advice. But her support wasn't just emotional. She actively helped with many of her charity efforts. She was involved in organizing everything, from hospital visits to raising awareness for causes like AIDS. Her dedication to her charitable work never faded, even though their public appearances seemed effortless and glamorous. Life in the royal family came with a lot of pressure, and during tough times, her constant support was essential for her. She helped her handle the endless media attention and the harsh judgments that often came with being in the public eye. This was especially true during her rocky marriage to the prince. When the media buzzed with stories of infidelity and marital issues, she was always there to lean on. Having dated him before her, she understood the struggles she faced, which made her support even more meaningful. But the worst was yet to come. By the mid-1980s, rumors about him getting closer to Camilla Parker Bowles started to spread. The royal family, known for keeping personal matters private, managed to keep this hidden from the public for a while. At first, the rumors were just whispers, sparked by sightings of him and Camilla at social events. Their closeness was noticeable to people in their circle, but not to the general public. Still, it wasn't long before the truth about his and Camilla's relationship came to light, leading to one of the biggest scandals in royal history. By the late 1980s, their bond had grown stronger, even though both were married, him to her and Camilla to Andrew Parker Bowles. What had once been quiet gossip among friends became too obvious to hide. As we turn the page from this royal spectacle, the journey ahead promises more than just regal ceremonies. The leaked love talks of Charles and Camilla. But this wasn't even the most shocking part. By 1986, the rumors had grown louder, with Charles and Camilla being seen together more often. Their relationship became more apparent, but the real bombshell dropped in the early 1990s. In 1993, a private conversation between him and Camilla from 1989 was leaked. This conversation, which became known as Camillagate, revealed intimate details about their relationship, stunning the public. The leak sent the British tabloids into a frenzy, and the royal family's private matters were exposed like never before. The scandal didn't just hurt his reputation, it cast a shadow over the entire British royal family. Once respected as the Prince of Wales, he found himself caught in a controversy that shook the foundation of the monarchy. In 1994, he decided to confront the rumors directly by speaking with journalist Jonathan Dimbleby. During this televised interview, he admitted to being unfaithful, but explained that it only happened after his marriage had already fallen apart. While he didn't say Camilla's name, most people knew she was the one involved. The next year, Diana gave a heartfelt interview with the BBC's Panorama, where she famously said,
"Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded."
Her words touched many people who admired her kindness and grace. In that interview, she spoke openly about the difficulties she faced in the royal family, her feelings of betrayal, and how his affair affected their marriage. Her honesty won her even more public support, but it also made his reputation even worse. At this point, the royal family, usually very private, found their personal lives being discussed everywhere. What had once been hidden from the public was now making headlines. The tension between him and Diana kept growing, leading to their separation in 1992. 4 years later, in 1996, their 15-year marriage officially ended in divorce. Through all of this, Spencer sisters, Sarah, Jane, and herself, remained incredibly close. They stood by her, offering support during the tough times, especially during the separation and the intense media attention. Even after the divorce, Both he and Diana worked together to raise their children, William and Harry, until his tragic death in a car accident with Dodi Fayed in Paris in August 1997. On that tragic night, Diana and Dodi had just returned to the Ritz Hotel in Paris after a relaxing summer in the French Riviera and Sardinia. They originally planned to have dinner at a famous bistro called Chez Benoit, but the large crowd of paparazzi made them change their plans. Instead, they had a quiet dinner in their hotel suite, not knowing it would be one of their last moments together. Just after midnight, they tried to avoid the paparazzi by leaving through a back exit of the hotel, a decision that would lead to their untimely deaths. Henry Paul, the driver, took control of a luxurious Mercedes-Benz S280 for a fast escape through the busy streets of Paris. Paparazzi on motorcycles were chasing closely behind. With the car's bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, sitting next to him, the situation became more intense as the car sped dangerously over the limit. It was just after midnight, around 12:23 a.m., when they entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Medical teams tried everything they could to save her, both at the scene and later at the hospital. Doctors worked hard, even performing a heart massage, but it was no use. Diana's heart had moved inside her chest, causing a vital vein to tear and leading to serious damage. Despite all efforts, she passed away at the Pitié-Salpêtrière hospital as dawn broke on August 31, 1997. Her sudden death shook the world, leaving millions grieving. For her sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, the loss was deeply personal. Along with her other sister, Jane Fellows, and Prince Charles, she faced the heartbreaking duty of bringing Diana's body back from Paris. The return trip was filled with sorrow. At Diana's funeral, she stood strong, delivering a reading that captured the love and kindness she showed to others. But this wasn't the hardest part. After the funeral, as co-executor of the will, she played a big role in keeping her legacy alive. She helped raise a lot of money for causes important to her, like AIDS relief, landmine removal, and helping poor children. Her work didn't stop there. She was also deeply committed to helping Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, as they grew into their roles in the royal family. She supported them through major moments, like William's wedding to Catherine Middleton and Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle. In addition to honoring her sister's memory, she remained involved in her community. She served as the High Sheriff of Lincolnshire and led the Belvoir Hunt, showing her lifelong dedication to public service. Through these roles, she not only kept Diana's legacy alive, but also built her own, filled with service and care for others. During a time filled with chaos and public criticism, she remained steady and supportive. In 2018, she openly supported George Grant, who had worked with the Belvoir Hunt for nearly 3 decades. After a confrontation with 2 hunt monitors, Grant faced scrutiny, but having known him for 27 years, chose to stand by him. This showed her deep loyalty and her strong belief in supporting the people she trusted. However, despite her strong outward appearance, she carried deep sadness over the tragic loss of her sister. The mystery surrounding her death caused her great emotional pain. Not being able to hear the truth directly from her herself made things even harder for her. The unanswered questions and the constant thoughts of what might have been continued to weigh heavily on her, causing a pain that never really went away. Living every day with these unresolved feelings left her struggling with a constant sense of loss that she could never fully shake off. We've uncovered many facets of Lady Sarah's life and her unique position within British high society and the royal narrative, but how much of her actions were influenced by her personal feelings towards Diana's fame and the royal family's expectations? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.